Now we are joined by our Extra Point reporter, Miles Schroader, who joins us live from Frisco, Texas. First off, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Miles.
And secondly, what updates do you have for us?
Well, thanks so much, guys. This has really been the best birthday weekend I could have been treated to here in Frisco. Got to sit 10 feet behind Dak Prescott last night. And not only do I get to see some big faces, but I also got to see two WKU wins. One on the men's side against North Texas, 67-51 was the final in that one. And the Tops really from the beginning of that game established their dominance, got out to an early 22-8 run. And Lamonte Bearden was really distributing the ball well, sharing the sugar with the team.
More successful, he went from being popular to very popular. To in those later days, virtually legendary. And he was here the rest of his life.
Diddle was known as a man who put his heart out on the line every single night, and he was even known to cry after losses. Former WKU president Gary Ransdell recalls the passion Diddle displayed when he met the coach as a freshman in the late 60s.
He came to our freshman convocation, told us what the red towel meant, waved that red towel. The only words he actually spoke to me, however, was telling me to get off the grass, because he did not like people cutting across the lawns, and I think he caught me cutting across the lawn one day and told me to get off the grass.
Diddle's passion led him in becoming the winningest coach in college basketball history at the time of his retirement, and the strange thing is, he didn't even know it.
When Coach Diddle retired in 1964, he was listed as the second winningest coach in basketball history. 28, 29 years, something like that, to the early 90s, and he'd gone up from fifth to fourth. I asked the guy at the NCAA, I said, this can't be right, what's going on here? And he says, oh, we found there was a correction for Coach Fog Allen, which means at the time Diddle retired, he was the winningest coach in college basketball history and didn't know it.
Coach Josh Farrell dedicated countless hours trying to take the rugby team to the next level. He played the game as a student when rugby was just a club sport with a captain, and he stuck with the team for over a decade. On December 9th of 2017, Josh passed away after a battle with melanoma. It's been nearly a year and a half since he passed away, and even though he isn't physically with them, the impact Josh made on those around him won't be forgotten anytime soon.
It's not going to practice, it's going to see your family to a degree. And I know that may be cliche sounding.
Rugby does a thing to the soul in a way. It's hit me, and I think it hit Josh the same way, and he just wanted people to feel that.
He was so strong all the time. And he just cared about, he worried about the team. You know, what's the team? He was worried about taking care of everybody else. That's always what his concern was.
He was the backbone of this thing, and so it's been hard. We don't have him.
It's a smile. He had the biggest smile, and he was always grinning ear to ear.
All right, ready, set. What?
Josh always had a tendency to look at the bright side of things, even in his final days, and his glass-half-full attitude still sticks with his players today.
I couldn't get into an apartment. I had nobody to stay with, so I called Josh and was just like, hey, man, I need somewhere to stay. And he was like, you should have called me 2 hours ago. I've already got a room set up for you. Come over, here's my address. Sent all that before I could even, ask him. He's sitting in his couch with a t-shirt on, underwear on, playing Elder Scrolls. And he jumps up out of his chair, he gives me a hug, and he's like, hey, new Game of Thrones just came on. You want to pop it on?
Of course, Tavion Hollingsworth lighting it up with 23 points on the night, most of it coming from the mid-range as well. The Toppers are looking really nice offensively right now. And it's gonna bode well against this Southern Miss team who's more offensively focused. The thing I'm worried about, though, in this Southern Miss game with the score being 22-20 right now, is they've already allowed quite a few threes in this game. And if you allow a team like Southern Miss to get those threes, especially in a 2-3 defense, it can really provide some danger for you. So that's my one concern for WKU in this one.
Right, and he'd be outside after school with a football by himself, throwing up against a tree or throwing up against the wall and doing little drills on his own.
Trees and walls may have been Wilson's initial targets, but nowadays he's flinging the ball out to a batch of Patriot receivers who have no problem with their quarterback.
I love being one of his main targets, really. I don't really feel the pressure because he usually puts in a spot where I can go get it, and I don't really have to worry about making a lot of hard catches because usually the throws he throws are really good. He can put a lot of zip on the ball, and he puts in places that most quarterbacks can't in high school at this level.
Just 9 years after Fikes retired, the football team was in danger of being shut down due to budget cuts. But Coach Jack Harbaugh had other plans. He kept the program above 500 for a few seasons, and just a decade later, Topper fans saw their first national football championship in school history. And although the Tops are struggling through their 100th season, WKU saw its best-ranked recruiting class in school history come in this year, and Gary Ransdell thinks that regardless of the record, the one thing that will never die for WKU is the spirit.
And it doesn't go away. You don't turn that off just because it's time to retire from a particular position. That will always be part of us. It will always be central to us, both in our hearts and in our heads.
For the Extra Point, I'm Miles Schroader.